everybody, how's it going again? Well, today is the big day. How you guys doing? Guess what? There's some good news coming up to the TIMROVER channel. So how can I start? Oh, I haven't seen you guys in a while. So welcome back if you haven't been to the channel and to check out the videos that I've had. But guess what? Some new stuff is coming. I finally retired from a major corporation after 34 years of service, and I enjoyed my time there, and it's been a great tenure. So now it's time to move on to the next chapter. So what else I've been up to? I grew a beard. Hope you guys like it. This is my first time ever growing a beard. Never had a beard before. I always had my mustache. So I wanted to grow a beard. Never had one in all of my years of living. So I wanted to grow a beard. So I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think about this beard here. Well, good news. Other than retiring, it's time to retire TIMROVER. I mentioned earlier in a few more videos back that I was looking for a new rig, and today is that day. So stick around, I'll show you guys a new rig, and it's going to be great. So let's get this show on the road. I'm going to park Eugene the Jeep. I'm going to head out in TIMROVER, and let's get this party started. Everybody, got a little traffic behind me there, but we finally made it. We're gonna go inside and the last of TIMROVER, so let's go inside. Okay.
Your house batteries are going to be underneath the step over there.
Okay.
This one, when you're plugged in, it's charging both sets, and while you're driving down the road, it's charging both sets. This is your coolant reservoir right here, your trans dipstick, and then the oil fills right up here.
Gotcha.
Over there is the washer fluid, power steering, oil, and then the master cylinder's up there a ways. Luckily, you don't ever have to get to that.
No problem.
When you go to hook up your hose and you're running off city water, you want this valve turned into the city position. Like I said, you can fill the fresh tank this way. Now if you're going to be running off the fresh tank in the water pump, you do want to have it turned up to the dry camping position. And then this one is basically you can hook a hose up here, turn in here, turn on the pump, and then suck the antifreeze in. And if you forget any of it, it's all right there on the dock. I tell people if it's sitting for a couple weeks, push it down to prime, hold it down there for like 25-30 seconds, and then just push up to start. There are 2 circuit breakers on here. For some reason you don't have no power inside the coach, you're only half power, make sure they didn't trip off on you. Oil fill, oil dipsticks right here. This is the oil drain, which goes down underneath, and then there's an oil filter underneath it. This is your LP tank. This is the on and off. There's a gauge on the LP tank itself. There's also a gauge on the monitor too. I always tell everybody this one's a little more accurate than the one on the monitor. Outside TV. This is the DVD system too for that TV. And the stereo actually sounds pretty good on it. The water heater, it's a 10 gallon. The only thing you ever have to do outside is drain it. Drain it, you lift this up to release the pressure, unscrew that plastic nut. And the switches to turn it on are going to be inside. This one has 3 disconnect switches. has this disconnect right here, and then over by the door over here, there's two more disconnects. The disconnects inside shut off the engine battery and the house battery for the inside. This disconnect shuts off for the inverter. If you shut those two off and leave that one on, eventually this inverter will drain your house batteries down. So when you shut them off, shut off all three. Big thing is, remember to turn this one back on, because if you plug in and up above here, there's an actual display for this thing. It'll read dead battery. If it ever reads dead battery when you're plugged in, you know you forgot to turn that disconnect on. Here's the other two disconnects I was telling you about. One's for the engine, one's for the house. And the house batteries are underneath this step with those screws right there. So now if you're going to use the leveling system, you're going to want to use it before you run the slide rooms out. And basically for that, you need to have the engine running and the emergency brake on. There's an on-off switch right here. You got two choices. You either got manual or you got auto. I tell people if you're on a decent sized slope, this thing will never automatically level itself. You're going to have to push the manual. When you do that, you run the two fronts, the two rears, the two lefts, two rights. I'm going to put it in auto. You can see the wait light comes on, and that's just the board thinking. In a second here, the jacks down light will come on. You'll never get the low voltage light if you're running the engine. And if you forgot to engage the parking brake, it has a light. These lights blinking right here, it's just telling me it's low in the rear, low on the left side. Once it gets all through itself, the center right here is going to turn to a solid green. There we go. This model, you actually need to keep the engine running to run the slide rooms out. And then after you ran the slide rooms off, of course you just shut the engine off and do your thing. Now when you go to leave, you would turn this back on, of course run the slide rooms in first, turn this back on, wait for this wait light to go off, and then all you gotta do is hit the retract all jacks button. Once all the jacks are up, that light goes off right there. And since we're waiting there, you have the backup camera. This one also has the turn signal cameras. It's got electric mirrors, left and right. That switch right there is for the heated mirrors. The blind, it'll never run all the way down when the engine's running. If you want to get it all the way down, you need to shut the engine off, and then it'll run the rest of the way. Same thing with the other shade too. This one does have an emergency start or auxiliary start. If you ever happen to come in here and the engine battery's dead, you can hold this down while you turn the key. Jumps power from the house batteries over the engine battery. And then you got your fans. ICC. Have you ever seen like truck drivers flash lights at each other? That's exactly what that button does. Map lights. And there's probably there's a switch on the map lights too. The utility light, I didn't show you, but over the dump station over there, there's a big round light up there. That's the switch for it right there. Generator on and off, and then you can either have the radio on when you're parked or when you're traveling. Now if you do have the radio on when you're parked, it does still drain off the engine battery, doesn't drain off the house battery. Keep this running for a slide. And then these are pretty standard right here. The radio, and you have to wait till it warmed up, but it is touchscreen. So your slide room switches are right here. And I tell people make sure your seat's out of the way too when you run them. driver's side and rear. And then the last slide room switch, those three are up there. This one is right down here. Anytime these switches are blue, that means the lights are on. When they're off, all your control stuff basically is up here. Like down where the three slide room switches. This is the inverter right here. You can see right now, it's hard to see because I got the plastic still on, but it's on. It's charging at 14. It's on the absorb charge. Anytime you first plug it in, it's always a bulk charge. Depending on how much the charge the battery needs, then it flips over to absorb. And finally, it'll go to just basically a trickle charge. I just turned the inverter on. Of course, it's not inverting right now because we're plugged in. It won't start inverting until after I unplug it. Basically, the inverter just takes 12 volts and switches it over to 120, and the inverter's for the refrigerator. So I tell people while you're going down the road, use the inverter so you can keep your house fridge cold. If you happen to flip on your generator while you're going down the road, even though it says invert, because there's AC power, it's automatically going to start running off that generator, the fridge, until you shut it off again. And this basically tells you a bunch of stuff. So this is actual the load status. It says water heater on, AC compressor, AC fan. Say you were plugged into 30 amps, you were pulling too many amps, it would shut something off automatically on you. This is actually telling you the voltage. Same thing, this thing does the same thing too. You can see on one line we're only pulling 2 amps. The shore is active. It's got times. You can view faults. Each line's amperage and stuff. That's the monitor panel right up there. You can see everything's empty except for the LP gas, which is full. The electric side of the water heater, the LP side of the water heater. This over here, you can actually use as a manual generator start too. As actually an automatic generator. So you can actually, and I'm going to let you go through the owner's manual on this one to set it up. But you can either set that auto gen start up to start at a certain voltage, a certain temperature.
So Rich just took me through the walkthrough of the Holiday Rambler. This is my new rig, the old TIMROVER you guys saw earlier. And I want to thank Rich again for giving us a walkthrough. And this is a great rig, guys. A little few things need to be fixed up, but that's any rig. But until then, you guys take care. See you next time on TIMROVER RV. Bye.